Hi, this is going to be the recording for Math 96, Section 1.1. So open your notebook to page 6, please. Okay, for those of you who don't have the notebook yet, this is what the students with the notebook, they have it printed in front of them. I have a slide for each area, so please take out a piece of notebook paper. Take out a piece of paper, and you're going to be writing as we go, and you'll have to transfer these notes into your notebook. So the sooner you go to THS attendance over at Talkwitz, see Elda or someone in attendance, please pick up that notebook. Okay, so at the top of the notebook on page 6, you should have the essential question, and I apologize, I haven't quite figured out what is happening here. It seems to be getting a little lopsided, but we're going to do the best we can until there we go. Miss Artofer needs to do a little bit different this year. Okay, so when we start our notes on page 6, at the very top of your page is the essential question. I need you to write that essential question right in here. So what I'm writing, you should be writing. And it says, what does the left to right rule mean in mathematics? So what does the left to right rule mean? And you're writing at the top of page 6 of your notebook. So what does the left to right rule mean? And after we're done with the lecture, at the bottom there's a summary, and you're going to answer this question. So please don't write in the summary something like, today we learned. No, I want you to just answer this question. What does the left to right rule mean? Sometimes the summaries in math are just 1 or 2 sentences, sometimes 3 or 4. Okay? Moving on. So here we go. Those of you who don't have a notebook, you'll need to come back to this particular recording. I'll be posting it in the Google Classroom. You'll have to come back because I do not expect you to write this all out on your piece of notebook paper. That's why I had I printed a notebook for you. So make sure you go get that notebook. All right, those of you who do, here we go. Okay, so order of operations. You remember that. Look over here. Doesn't this look familiar? PEMDAS, PEMDAS. Remember PEMDAS? Okay, so the P for PEMDAS, that means to simplify this stuff. Well, what is that stuff? In math, those are called grouping symbols. If you're going to be going off to another math class at college, then the formal way to refer to all of those symbols as grouping symbols. Sorry, my S wasn't the best there. Okay. What does E stand for? So simplify all exponentials. I think we're going to exponents. Simplify all exponents. I don't know why I have this little line here. It's a typo. Okay, LR. This has to do with our essential question, left to right. So follow the what to what rule. So if you were never quite so good in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at these kind of order of operation problems, it was probably because you weren't following the left to right rule. Always work from the left each time, just the same way that we read out of a book. We always read from the left side to, the way we read. You do your math, always restart it from the left side to the right. Okay, M and D. Obviously, perform multiplication or division. And again, always restart, starting from the left to the right. And then AS. So you're going to perform addition or subtraction from the left to the right. So if you see addition first, do addition. But what if your problem starts with subtraction first? Then you would do subtraction. That's what the word or means. Whatever your eyeball sees as you're going through a problem from the left to the right. So here we go. I have a bit of an example right here. If you don't have a notebook at home and you're working on paper, right now, I do expect you to write this down. I can understand that you will fill the top part in coming back to a recording. Please don't. If you're on just regular paper, don't be trying to write all of this. You can come back to the recording once you get your notebook and fill it up. I don't want you doing this busy work, okay? But if you are on regular paper, then you should write this problem down. Okay, so we're going to evaluate n minus 10, and the quantity n minus 10 squared minus 8. There's something missing here. There it is. It just didn't type. it says n equals 15. So what does that mean to do? It means take this 15, march it over, and plug it in for the n. So let's do that. I'm going to write off to the right. You're writing down underneath a bit. I can write down a bit. Here we go. We're going to write down. So it's going to become 15 minus 10, because I'm going to plug in a 15 because over here it says to plug it in. That quantity will be squared minus 8. Okay, so what should we do first? If you just look at this problem, there's subtraction, there's an exponent, and there's parentheses. So according to PEMDAS, what are we supposed to do first? We are supposed to do the parentheses first, so let's get started on that. So hang out inside the parentheses. You're writing what I'm writing. So we need to do this first because that's what's inside the parentheses. We're not considering any of this yet. 15 minus 10, well, that's just 5. So now we're going to go again. Cha-ching, we did parentheses. What's next? Look in the problem. Is there any exponents? Well, yeah, there's exponents. It's right here. So don't do the minus 8. Focus yourself again right here. Again, we're working from the left to the right. 5 squared means 5 squared is not 10. 5 squared means 5 times 5 equals 25. When I'm working off here on the side and you don't have that in your notes, I'm just trying to make sure you're not making a mistake. This is going to be 5 squared does not equal 10. So I'm just writing to you this 5 squared does not mean 5 times 2. Okay, so don't think like that. 5 squared means 5 times 5 equals 25. So this math right here is 25. And then I'm going to bring down the back part, which is minus 8. Okay, I'm going to go back over to PEMDAS. So we did parentheses, we did exponent. So now, is there any multiplier divide? Nope. So the next thing would be to add. Well, there isn't any add. So last thing we'll do is subtract. So we're done. 25 minus 8. It's 20, that's 17. Here's your answer. So just so you know, it's easier for me to teach you right from the beginning how I'm going to write answers. So FA equals 17 means final answer. I'm not going to write out those words, final and answer, every time. So on my notes, when you see FA, it means final answer equals 17. So there's your answer, 17. Sometimes we're going to get into complicated problems, and sometimes students don't know where is the final answer. So when I'm doing that in a lecture and I write FA, then what you would write on the answer for a quiz or a test, you would just write 17, okay? Moving on to the next problem. We should be on number 2. If you don't have the notebook, you would need to be writing this down on your piece of paper and transferring it over to your notebook. It's going to come up again. Here we go. So Evaluate m to the third power plus 7 minus n. So we have to plug it in. So wherever you see an m, you're going to write the 2. Wherever you see the n, you're going to write the 8. So I'm now going to plug it in. It's going to become 2 to the third plus 7, because I put a 2 right here, minus, and then the 8's going to go in. And then we have to do our math according to PEMDAS. So I'm writing PEMDAS here. You don't have to write this. I'm just helping the lecture. You should be writing right over here, what's 2 to the third? 2 to the third means 2 times 2 times 2. So if you do that from the beginning, go to the left to the right again. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times that back 2 is equal to 8. 2 to the third becomes an 8. There were no parentheses. We did the exponent. Bring the rest of your problem down. Start over again from the left to the right. What's 8 plus 7 is 15. Ooh, sorry. There we go. 15 minus 8. You're going to bring down the minus 8. So 8 plus 7 is 15. Bring down, see, minus 8, minus 8, minus 8 at the very end. So 15 minus 8. Oh, I'm lost. 15 minus 8. Too tired. 7. That's my answer. Moving on. Okay, example 3. Start plugging in those numbers. Wherever you see an X, right over here, plug in a 2. Wherever you see a 5, a Y, plug in a 5. Sorry, I'm really tired. Can't think straight right now. Waiting for you to write it out. Oops. Okay, now look at my screen. What is happening right up here? Be careful. What's happening up here in between 2 and y squared? I'm going to write it over. 2y squared. What's happening right there? Right smack in the middle. Because if you don't know that, there's no add sign, subtract sign. What is going on? The only symbol that we ever don't write is a multiply. So in between here is a multiply sign. So when you plug in the 5 here, you have to add the multiply sign. And some things in math are hidden. And so if you haven't been good at math, maybe you never knew that when someone on a paper just writes 2y squared, it means 2 times whatever y squared is going to be. So you have to add the multiply. Okay, this one gets a little tricky. I remember last year I had a typo and this didn't work out so well. I hope I went back and corrected my typo. I usually do. Okay, let's go from the left to the right. So if we just scan first, we have subtract, exponent, add, divide, multiply, exponent. So remember, this lesson is just about PEMDAS. What do we do first? Do you have any parentheses? No. Okay, look for exponents from the left to the right. So I see an exponent, but I'm not going to do anything right here. 9 minus 7 comes down, and you only focus right here on the exponent. We already talked about what 2 to the third is. It's 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2, so we have another 8. So I'm going to change this to 8, and then I bring everything down. And I know that sometimes you don't like to be writing a lot in math, but at least we're not doing paragraphs. Uh-oh. Moving from the left to the right, we found another exponent. So how much is 5 squared? Just like we did in the other problem, is 5 times 5, which is equal to 25. So I'm going to bring down 25. 5 squared got changed to 25. 2 to the third got changed to 8. Otherwise, everything else stayed the same. Okay. I'm going to erase my highlights. Here we go. We're done with exponents. Multiply, divide. Yep, I have those in there. So work from the left to the right. This is 9 minus 8 plus 6. Divide. I have to do the divide because I see it first. So everything here needs to come down. 9 minus 8 plus. You need to do the divide. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I have to bring down the back part, times 25. So as I was looking from the left to the right, I'm stopping at divide. I did 6 divided by 2, and I brought down the 25. I'm going to start again. I did the divide. Do I have multiply? 9 minus 8 plus 3 times 25. So bring down 9 minus 8. What's 3 times 25? That's like having 3 quarters in your hand at 75 cents. We're almost done. We just did the multiply. The last set is add or subtract at the very end. I see subtract first, so do it. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the back. 1 plus 75. Your final answer to this problem is 76. Moving on, I think we have just one more problem to do. If you're still on notebook paper, I need you to be writing that down right now. The rest of us with a printed notebook that Miss Artover printed and made for you this summer, we're waiting for you, and I need to finish up. Okay, plug in A equals 4. The directions here at the very beginning of our first 4 examples is evaluate, not solve, not graph a line, right? It's evaluate. That's the word that would be on a quiz or a test. So evaluate this thing if you plug in a 4. So let's do it. 5 plus 2. And we're going to plug it in. I'm going to plug this 4 right in. 4 minus 1. What should we do first according to PEMDAS? Because that is what this lecture is about. Do we have parentheses to do? We do. Focus right here. Focus right here. That's harder to see, huh? The yellow. Okay. I'll change it next time. Bring down 5 plus 2 parentheses squared. So how much is that? 4 minus 1 right there. 3. Done with parentheses. Moving on. The next one we watch for is exponents. Here's an exponent. So I'm going to bring down everything. 5 plus 2. Always leave parentheses in if there's a number attached, right? So just focus right here and do your exponent. How much is 3 squared? So what's 3 squared? It is not 6. It is not 6. 3 squared means 3 times 3 equals 9. So if you want to get an A on those tests, because you've been ever since a little kid, we say, what's 3 times 2? 6. What's 5 times 2? 10. When you see stuff like 5 squared, your brain naturally thinks 10 because for years we've been, going over that. So there's like natural little mistakes. So be careful on a test. 3 squared, or 3 to the second, is not 6. I see that all the time. Okay? So there we go. 3 squared is 9. Go back. We're done with exponents. Do you see any multiply or divide? Yes, this means multiply when you have a number next to a parenthesis. So 5 plus what is 2 times 9? 18. 2 times 9 is 18. So what's 5 plus 18? That's 23. Your final answer, which I'm going to box for you, is 23. I think we're done. So your final answer And I'm just getting you used to how I do notes. FA means final answer. If you get distracted or something and you're looking like, oh, what's all that stuff up there that she's doing? What is it? What did we get at the end? Then you can always see wherever I write FA, final answer is 23. Moving on. We're not going to do that. I was hoping I had a blank screen, but I don't. Let me see if I can go back. Okay, at the bottom of your note page, you have summary. So at the very bottom, you're supposed to write your summary now. The essential question is, what does the left to right rule mean? How do we answer that question? What does the left to right rule mean? In student talk in a decent sentence, because if you read the little paragraph in your notebook, it says we expect full sentences. The left to right rule means when using PEMDAS, what did I say most all this whole lecture, comma, when using PEMDAS, always start, oh, I forgot my S. Start over on the left side. Because in math, in some problems, it really does matter to get the right answer to always start on the left. Thank you for my first recording. Thank you for being patient.